Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Aaron Hill Podcast, a podcast devoted to music, motivation, information, education, and just a tad bit of humor. Right now, I'm currently driving in my car. And if you all have listened to the last podcast that I did, it's called Don't Just Dream, Do. And I did that podcast to illustrate a few points that I thought was useful and would be useful. And this is actually a continuation of it. And I would say, in a way, it's kind of just a spontaneous kind of thing, but it works out perfectly. So right now, I'm recording this podcast on my phone. And the last time I did a podcast, I had my nice new Rode microphone with my nice little furry and fluffy windscreen. I did a video podcast, and as of right now, and I'm still editing it, it will actually be up on tomorrow. But I'm excited about doing this podcast because this actually demonstrates the point that I made there even further. I don't have my microphone. I'm not even going to use background music from a production standpoint. Right now, the music that you all hear is the background music that's playing in my car. I'm playing my own background music while we're driving. And this is actually, again, to illustrate a point. And I'm not recording this as a video podcast right now in order to do something that is very simple, very easy, and effective, and to do it with as little production as possible. And it's to illustrate the point to someone who's listening that you don't ever have to wait for the ideal circumstances in order to create a moment that is an expression of yourself and that may be helpful to someone else. And that's no matter what you're doing. Right now, I'm doing it as a podcast. For you, it could be a message that you send on Facebook to the world, an inspirational message. Or it could be in your field, if you're in the field of helping people, talking to people, just making your voice heard, allowing for your voice to be heard, speaking your mind, writing your poetry, writing your song, whatever it is that you do, whether it's a hobby or whether it's just a part of your life goals and it's a part of your career field. And no matter how much money you're making with it, this is just an expression of saying, do it and don't ever let anything hold you back. And it's funny because the words I just said also go along with the track that's in the background, which is, if you guys have been keeping up with my vlogs, I have a vlog that'll be coming out shortly that is from my son Jordan's 18th birthday. We went out, we had a lot of fun, and actually in that vlog I used his birthday I guess I don't want to say I used his birthday, I don't want to make it sound negative, but I took an opportunity, like a beautiful opportunity on his birthday, to introduce a gift to him that'll be a bit of a long-term gift, probably something that will happen over the course of the summer for sure. In fact, I'm holding myself to it. And that was that I revealed to him that this track that you hear in the background is a track that I made that I had an idea to write a song to him with. He's 18 now and he just graduated high school. And as a father, and as a man who's been there at 18 and now, in fact, as of right now this year, I can say I've lived 2 18-year-old lives because I'm 36 right now. So I know not only what I and his mom have been preparing him for as far as how to navigate in the real world, and that's mostly been relegated to school and other activities when you're in your younger years. But now that message for me, and it will come through this song, that message is about preparing for manhood. It's about the fact that, he's about to come into the time of his own responsibilities. And one thing I mentioned in the vlog is that when I was younger, there was a hip-hop artist out, and I think his name was Apache. Sorry for the background noise, guys. Again, if you bear with me, this is literally to inspire someone to not wait on the perfect environment or perfect situation in order to do something towards your dream. So a while back, there was a hip-hop artist named Apache who came out with a song called Back in the Day. If you guys listen to hip-hop in the 90s, then you'll remember this song. And it was like, back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. You know, and he, at one part of the song, one of the lyrics was, I wish all I had to do was come home and finish homework. Now, I'm about maybe between 10 and 12 years old. I'm at my father's house, who I just left. Love my dad. Shout out to him. But I'm at his house with two of my younger brothers. And we used to play some of his music in the room that we stayed in through a stereo system that was back there for us. Two of the songs that we used to play on repeat over and over and over and over was the Dennis the Menace soundtrack and the Will Smith, as you guys could imagine, and you'll probably chuckle when you hear this. Like, we used to play the Dennis the Menace soundtrack, and specifically the Will Smith song, Parents Just Don't Understand. You can imagine why that was our theme song. I mean, of course, every kid goes through their parents, don't understand me phase. Sometimes it's actually true. I'm an adult now, and I can honestly say, being able to be honest enough and wise enough to say, sometimes it's actually true, to a large extent. As an adult, I'm really just an older child. There's still things I'm learning. I'm just in an older body. There's still things. I still have the propensity to mess things up, to fail, to misjudge things, like the whole nine. So it is true. There are sometimes we really just don't understand. And I think actually that would be helpful for a lot of us as parents to be able to understand that. And that will help us to work with our kids better, to understand them better, and for them to see us more as human beings, just vulnerable human beings who are doing the best they can to make it and who's still learning and growing. I think that's super, super valuable. Sorry about the background noise, guys. Riding through Baltimore City, and if you're in Baltimore City, we got some places where the roads are really rough. We really need the city to take care of that. Maybe that'll be something that we can get together on, or I can make my voice more heard on. I'm interested in that. I'm interested in being more of an asset to my city and of the society around me. But at any rate, there are many times as parents we don't understand. Now, as we were kids, we were enjoying this song. Part of the time, parents don't understand. The other times, it's just us being kids in our own mind and in our own world. And not understanding that they do understand. We just don't understand. But at any rate, that was our theme song because we could relate to it. The other song that we played was the Apache song, Back in the Day. And the reason why I'm bringing up this song is that at the time when I heard that line in the song, when Apache said, I wish all I had to do was come home. Sometimes I wish all I had to do was come home and finish homework. At the time when I'm between 10 and 12 years old, that caught me because I'm like, wait a minute. Let's talk about my relationship with homework and why that affected me. So my relationship with homework at that time was by any means necessary. If I didn't have to do homework, that is great. I mean, that was the one thing I was running from. And most kids, unless you're like my daughter, Aria, shout out to her, where she has always just been so good with her work. And she just was born with that feeling of caring and being on her work and that kind of thing. But the rest of us were running from it. So when he said, all I wish I had to do was homework, I'm like, wait a minute, what's wrong with this dude? Does he know that homework is terrible? Does he know that homework is crazy and it is punishment, But it always stuck with me And of course, now as an adult, I realize, because the truth of the matter is, yeah, with bills and responsibilities and everything else going on, oh, my track left. This is live for you. My track just left, and now I'm actually in my car, and funny confession, but this is actually shows you the time that we live in. So I don't necessarily know how to work my CD player all the way. I know most about it, but I don't know how to change CDs, and it would be easy, but I don't use CDs anymore. Can y'all believe, like, we're literally in a world now where CDs are obsolete and things are moving so fast. Less than 10 or 15 years ago, like, you know, CDs were the thing. And now we're moving to streaming heavily. A lot of people are afraid of it or think that it's a bad thing. I mean, I think that it's relative. It actually makes sense because now we can have a lot more. We can listen to a lot more music, and we can do it on demand, and it's great. It does suck if you're an artist or a musician, and I am one. But yeah, you know that, and this is charged to all the musicians and artists out there. You know, we have to be like the palm tree, not like the oak tree. I believe is one of the strongest trees. Not like the oak. It's good to be like the oak, you know, for certain reasons. You can find certain metaphors and reasons why being like the oak is best. But to be like the palm tree is even better. Why? Because the palm tree bends with the wind. The oak tree does not. So when there are super strong winds, the oak tree will crack right in the middle because it doesn't have an ability to be flexible and to bend with the wind. The palm tree, on the other hand, is able to bend with the wind and therefore survive under the changing tides and the changing pressures of the wind. So be like the palm tree. Be able to bend, be flexible, be mutable. The only consistency in life is change. So the more you can adapt to that and be able to find your place in it, the better off you'll be. The more you'll be able to survive and thrive. So I brought up that song because he said back in the day when I was young, now that I've gotten older, I wish all I had to do was homework. And that stuck out all the way to this day. And of course, now I see why he said that. I'm an adult. And yes, I would trade homework now. No, I have to say, I mean, I love definitely being a father. And there are beautiful things that come with being an adult. But I guess, you know, you all can put it in context. You know what I mean? So back to this song and this instrumental that's playing in the background. The reason why this is significant is because I'm at the point of delivering a message to my son, and I'm going to use the opportunity to talk to my son through the song because that's a beautiful thing, and he's already excited about it. The vlog will be up. You guys will get a chance to see him smile, and it was great. We had a great day. We raced. You know, we were on the Autobahn here in Baltimore. We raced and got a good shot of a racing scene. It was just great. You guys will be right on the ride with us. So I'd like to see what you think of that. That's going to be on my YouTube channel. Check out Aaron Hill on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm hoping to bring a lot of great material that, you know, it's just a candid human being just trying to be the best that he can be, invite people along on the journey. So having this conversation with him in this song is my goal. I'm going to write a song that's dedicated to him. Most of you guys don't know, but I actually used to be a hip-hop artist. And I guess I can't use the word used to be if I'm about to do a song that's in a hip-hop vein. But it's just that it's been a while since I've done it. But, not too bad, not too rusty. I still got it. Just got to pull out a few stops and brush up on my skills. But that'll be something that happens this summer. And my goal is to do it for him and also to do it for young men, period, just as my word of advice to help. I'm hoping that it'll be something fruitful and helpful. I believe it will be, and I'm super excited about it. So this is my way, this is my journey, this is my way of just trying to be the best that I can be and be a light for the world. The message that I had earlier that I put on Facebook today, if you get a chance, check out my Facebook page and the Aaron Hill. It was that we'll never, quote unquote, have the time. We talk about that all the time with different things because life is hard at times. And there are many things that we're trying to do, and there's only 24 hours in a day and it's 7 days in a week. So many times we don't actually have, quote unquote, just have the time. The next thing that we go to is we have to make the time. And that's very true. But I like to, I look at the idea, and I was being literal just for a second, just to prove a point. And I was saying that, truthfully speaking, we can't actually make time. We only have 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week. We can't actually make 35 hours. We can't make more hours than that, And of course, but I'm just, just metaphorically speaking. And I was saying that to say that what I realize, and this is what I'm applying in my own life right now as we speak, which is why I'm doing this podcast with no other professional gear other than my phone, and why I encourage you to do the same, because you have something to tell the world, whether it's a passion or an expertise. You have to find ways of taking your activities that you're already doing and making them be, instead of single focus activities where you get several things done at the same time. Now, a lot of us are already applying this in our life, so I'm not saying anything that most of you all don't already know. But the thing I am saying is that we can apply it to another level, and I'm doing it right now as we speak, not just on this podcast, but also just in my life in general. And I said on the Facebook post that it's for people that fall into either one of three categories. Either you fall into the category of needing to do it in order to get your life back, needing to be able to consolidate, get a number of things done with a single task because you need to get your life back. Second category is that you're trying to manage your life. Third category is that you're trying to reach some goals, and that's the formula that it takes. Three categories. I fall into all three categories. And the beautiful thing is, as you all know that follow me, I do get a lot of things done. I'm actually very productive. I pride myself on being a very productive individual. The level of productivity that I desire now requires this kind of reformulating. And so I thought that I would share that and just my part of my journey with others, for the same reason of hopefully being able to be an example and to say we can do this together. So no longer accept the excuse from yourself that you don't have the time, and you don't even have to, I won't even say make the time. It will be ultimately making the time, but just take what you're already doing. If you aren't able to make more time, and if you are at a place where you're doing the best that you can, then maybe take a few activities. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my background music back happening. That was kind of jamming. And it helped with not just hearing background noise from the road. All right, I think I got it. So do yourself a favor. Find ways of consolidating and being able to accomplish several tasks with the same activity. Get creative. One of the other mantras that I live by, and I'll do another podcast on this, is that your ability to survive, this is an Aaron Hill original, your ability to survive is directly proportional to your ability to be creative. Or let's restate that. Your ability to survive is directly proportional to your level of creativity. And another way of saying it maybe would be to how creative you get with creativity. How creative you are. So be creative. Life is going to throw many things at you. Use your creativity to be able to navigate through. Invent new ways of doing things. And the reason why I'm saying this is that in a lot of ways, there are many things that you would have already done if you didn't think somebody was going to look at you crazy? If you didn't think someone was going to look at you sideways, if you didn't think that it was going to be a little bit embarrassing or that it might not be perfect, you would have done it already. It's just that we wait for ideals. I've learned time and time again in having, another season in my life where I'm reapplying it and having to revisit it and take it to another level. The only ideal now for me, let's make the ideals. And so the ideal is that we take back our lives by being able to be creative and creatively use our time to do a number of things and to not wait on ideal circumstances to take a step into the direction of your dream and to do something that you've been afraid of. Hopefully this will be a message to give you that push, that motivation. If you're still hanging with me, thank you so much. This has been the Aaron Hill Podcast. Live, candid, and direct. I just pulled up at home, so that lets me know it's time to wrap it up. I got someone to reel me in my home. But this has been the Aaron Hill Podcast. I hope there's something I said inspired you. If it did, drop me a voicemail message to this podcast or either hit me up on social media. Facebook is the place where I reside the most because I like to have conversations. But if not, hit me on Instagram or YouTube, whatever. Let me know what you think of this. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Much love to you.